Welcome to Lead Today with me, Kalyna. Let's talk leadership.
This episode would not be possible without Anchor. It's free and the easiest way to make a podcast. They're creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Welcome to another episode of the show. Today I am excited to delve into an intro to alternative healing modalities series. We'll be doing 5 little mini episodes about different modalities that I have found to be personally useful and that my clients have also utilized to feel not only well again from a disease, but to really employ preventative measures to feel more wellness, vitality, and the like. Of course, we all go through seasons and, we don't always feel 110%, but I think the idea in all the modalities that I'll bring to you over the course of these next 5 episodes will be really to focus in on balance and this idea of harmony. And so let's dive right in. And if you love these episodes, please do like, subscribe, review, all the clicks and things that you can do. It makes a world of a difference to have reviews on this show so that more people can find it. And thanks, as always, for listening. So today I want to move into traditional Chinese medicine. I think that it is based in such interesting, not only theory, but it's been in practice for thousands of years, from what I understand. And literally, so let's see, the earliest writings say between 1st and 4th centuries BC. So quite old. Interestingly enough, I do see similarities in their basis with Humorism, which is what the ancient Greeks used for medicine, and then also Ayurvedic principles. The interesting thing is, though, with Humorism is that it sort of died out of favor when germ theory came in and stole the stage in the Western medicine world. But Chinese medicine and the traditional practices have really stayed as the core foundation of medicine and adding science in. But there are many TCM practitioners in China and around the world that continue to practice on these 5 elements and their pillars with the intention to take the 5 types of energies that are associated with different times of year, different personality characteristics, different foods, and to really help us create inner balance and harmony of our masculine and feminine energies, yin and yang, within the body. So we're looking for harmony in the body, and we do that via our environment and the things we're putting into our body, around our body. We are our environments, or we are part of nature. Would it be, I think, the basic premise of most of these healing modalities is that we sometimes feel separate, and we feel even that our mind is different from our body. And I think traditional Chinese medicine does a brilliant job of saying, wait, let's work with the whole individual, which includes, yes, your thoughts, your emotions, but also your organs, which are super important. So 5 elements, 12 major meridians of the body. And the meridians are linked to organs that are, when the energy becomes blocked, that's when disease or adverse symptoms can appear. And by energy, we mean chi, life force, prana in Ayurvedic and yogic side of things. And it's flowing through the body in the same way the blood does. But of course, it's energy, so we can't see it. And that's where I think some of the challenge is, I suppose, with understanding or relating to this type of medicine in the Western world. Nevertheless, let's get into it because I think it's brilliant. So with the Meridian System, we're talking about the energies flowing through the 5 elements, still energies, but there are 5 different types of energies. And so each organ is related to one of the main meridians, when each of the core organs are related to the 12 meridians, and then also to a type of energy. And the idea is that if we are emotionally balanced, then the elements are balanced if we're out of whack. So either excessive empathy, depressed or stubborn, or on the other side, angry, impatient, or restless. The idea is that the organs and the energies are out of balance, and so that's when you'll start to see health problems crop up. So, what are the 5 elements in your Cole's Notes episode with me today? You've got wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. So, if we start with wood, simply because it's at the top of my list, although if I was to just share, so wood fuels fire, fire creates earth through ash, earth produces metal, metal gives birth to water, and water nourishes wood. So there's a producing cycle, and the idea is that they do need to be kept in balance and challenged in a sense, because you need that. If, let's say, metal's out of whack, then it can get water out of whack and so on. So we'll talk about them in the order of the producing cycle. There's also something called a control cycle, which is wood penetrates earth, fire forges metal, earth channels water, metal cuts wood, and water extinguishes fire. So there's a way to also control these elements that are very logical, that makes sense, of course, in nature and then also within our bodies. So let's go through the producing cycle. Essentially, wood is the beginning. It's new beginnings. It's a spring of the elements. And when it comes to our health, it's masculine or yang in character. It's associated with bamboo or strength and flexibility. And it's related to the organs of the liver and the gallbladder. Wood. Color green, tastes sour. Some interesting facts around food would be if you want to stimulate wood or your liver, gallbladder organs, if you feel you're having issues there. And the issues there, you'll know about them if they're out of whack because you have either excess empathy, or if it's weak, you're angry, impatient, resentful, nervous, and stressed out. So who doesn't have a bit of stress, right? A lot of us are dealing with weak liver energy, which would be weak wood elements. So something to definitely consider. And if you're feeling that's the case, some foods that really bolster the energy of it are lemon, lime, sour foods, tea, liver of any kind, beef, chicken, pork, or green leafy vegetables. So if any of those are on your plate, that'll support you in balancing those organs. And I wouldn't be a career coach if I didn't mention the careers associated: teaching, writing, inventing, politician, agriculture, or wood-related businesses, carpenter, makes sense, massage or hairstylist, bookshop. So interesting which professions you might be attracted to with the wood element. Next is fire, joy, happy, sociable. It's the peak of summer. It's related to the heart, pericardium, small intestine, and triple warmer, which is a meridian that governs all the energy circulating through the whole body, and your metabolism, cellular metabolism. Yep. And if your fire element's out of balance, you often feel sad or brokenhearted, and or may become overexcited. So it's like these kind of big dips in your heart energy, which sort of makes sense, right? And it can manifest in terms of headaches, fevers, problems of speech, throat, or the tongue. Small intestine unbalanced can cause difficulty in recognizing priorities. I've got the links here with all of this if you want to really dive in. I think what's important to consider with the heart is the taste that you want to cultivate is actually bitter, which is interesting. And it's really that warm, outgoing, social, summer kind of feeling. Woods that'll help you cultivate that are garlic, ginger, oils, chocolate, nuts, corn, I didn't think that, spring onions, seeds and herbs such as parsley. And careers, can't leave out the careers. Public speaking, business, innovation, visionary leadership, high-tech, AI, blockchain, robotics, oil and energy, chemistry, and then religion, spirituality, and healing, and interestingly enough. So if you feel you got that fiery flair, that sociable, outgoing, warm, lively, and it's in balance, you'll probably be attracted to those professions, which is interesting, right? We think of that fiery spirit. If we go to the earth element, and I want to just take a pause here to remind you again about not only the importance of getting a great practitioner when you deal with any of this, because there's so many different nuances to this, but also to just remember that we are all in a state of flux. And so even if you're feeling unbalanced in one, the main idea is to recognize it and get that preventative support with that great practitioner. I know we all put a lot of pressure on ourselves to heal or be well and do all these cleanses or things. I think the biggest thing we can do for ourselves is to remain balanced, and when we're out of balance, come back to that balance rather than swinging the pendulum like in the whole other direction. So let's keep going. Earth, our third element. We're dealing with late summer, that kind of turning of the seasons, autumn sort of deal. The organs are stomach and spleen. Attitude of stability. Taste is sweet, if you want to cultivate this. I feel like I just think of a sweet potato when I think of this element. Colors are brown and yellow, and the foods that you want to cultivate are it does say sweet potato, thick soups, bread, mutton, sugar, candy, baked meals. Professions are real estate, construction, consulting, art dealers, social services, or humanitarian work, and insurance business, interestingly. Real estate and insurance. So it's really grounding, right? It's stable. If you think of earthy element, that makes sense. And just interesting to note that earth represents a balance of both yin and yang. So it's both of them together, and the motion is inward and centering. It's really a stabilizing. It's a quality of patience, thoughtfulness, practicality, hard work, and stability. I'm sure you know somebody that represents the earth element to you. So if this is your tendency, some of these professions would be great for you. And it'll also just be a thought to think about if you're out of whack with some of these things, because it could be if you're very anxious, then your spleen's out of whack, so maybe too earthy. If there's a blockage in the spleen, it can be mouth problems, muscle problems, weight problems, digestion problems, like a heaviness or slowness setting out in your life. So definitely something to think about if you're that usually warm, kind, supportive, earthy kind of person. You can have difficulty merging with your environment or difficulties with boundaries. So definitely something to just consider around if you're getting increasingly worried about things because of how empathetic you are. That would be something to consider getting back into balance with. And you can do that via the foods that I mentioned. You can do that via the activities that are related. So yoga, walking barefoot, rock and mountain climbing, really getting out into nature, I think, is what gardening. So it's stuff that can stimulate that earth energy, is essentially getting back in touch with the earth, which makes sense, right? I think in all of traditional Chinese medicine, we're really talking about very common sense things. If you want more of a certain quality, if you need to boost a certain quality, you need to get in touch with it. So I'll have more examples on the next two. The next one is metal. So inner strength, courage, minimalism, simplicity, and determination. The organs are lungs and large intestine. The energy is contracted, which is interesting. If you want to balance it, you probably want to avoid the increasing, like if it's too excessive or dominant, you want to avoid certain activities or foods. The foods that will stimulate it: spicy, rice, mushrooms, chicken, ice cream, and yogurt. So if you're lacking metal, if you're feeling like you're jealous, there's grief, you're guilty, you're forceful or controlling or having lung issues, those are some foods to consider. And some activities would be shopping for or wearing jewelry. Interestingly, but hey, metal, right? Skiing, ice skating, cycling, fitness. And the careers on your doorstep, if your element is strong and balanced, will be finance, nurse or doctor, justice, or legal, military or police, goldsmith, jewelry, or selling cars. Cars. Guess they're historically made of metals too. So the idea of the autumn energy that metal brings is to rid yourself of what's not needed, shed and let go of that rubbish that you don't need, essentially, right? So what you're letting go of will produce compost, enrich the soil in the next cycle. So as we know, we're in cycles of the different emotions. So if you're feeling out of whack with your lungs, if you're feeling out of whack with dry or brittle hair problems, cold flu stuff coming up, nose issues, all around the lungs and blockages there. So try to amplify your metal in your life. And if it's excessive, so you're feeling jealousy, then that means get that stuff away from you, right? Because that's amplifying that element. So take off the jewelry, slow it down, find your inner courage, get rid of those specific foods I mentioned, chicken, mushrooms, really scale back and try to cultivate the element that you do feel weak in to get back to that balance, that state of harmony. Final one for today is water. And water is calm, objective, artistic, flexible, reflective, and has clarity. The organs associated are the kidneys and bladder. It's really the waterworks. And your reproductive and sexual organs are related. So it's said that the kidney controls the sexual organs in the body. So the kidney is really powerful, and any blockages or weakness can manifest physically as ear, hair, and tooth problems, UTIs, urinary infections, kidney stones, reproductive sexual problems, dull headaches, lower back, leg, and knee problems, lack of willpower and determination, and possibly kidney disease. So really important, and essentially you need to cultivate, and this is just to say the season, it's the winter season, so dark, coldness, everything starts to die and hibernate or migrate, right? It's really like cozy up indoors, sleep more, rest, eat, restore your energy. That's winter. So if you feel like you don't have the ability to change and flow and overcome obstacles easily, then there might be a little bit of an imbalance here in a weak kidney or bladder. So the taste is salty. The colors are dark blue, black. The time of day where these organs are, or rather this energy is heightened, is nighttime, so 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. Excessive water will be excessive willpower. If you have weak or non-existing water element, it's fear and anxiety. And again, that's translating to your kidney or bladder. So it's interesting, right? If an element is weak, it's right to those meridians, which are these organs that we're talking about. They're part of the meridians, the 12 major meridians in the body. Activities that'll stimulate weak water energy are swimming, especially in a large lake or the sea, to increase yang water. So if you can get by water, living near the water, long baths or showers, really, really great. Sleeping on a water bed. Anything really, drinking. Also, you want really on the food side, like you want to drink a bunch of boiled and filtered water, fish and seafood, salty and watery foods, seaweed, really powerful to boost that element. And you can look into specifics as well for kidney versus bladder. What I've noticed in chatting with people about traditional Chinese medicine is that the kidney and the liver and spleen are the three that in modern day society people are really deficient in. So just something to note if you're noticing some of these symptoms in these areas as you go to a practitioner. So if your water is balanced, then you're really looking at stocks, insurance, laundry, or cleaning business. Funny, right? Strategic planning and analysis, business with water and seafood, or shipping, transportation, or moving business. You can take that to just mean something that's flowing, right? So if you have a profession that's moving goods of any sort, I would say, or anything on the water related, which again makes sense. So those are the 5 elements. They translate to these 12 meridians. The meridians, just to name them off, but there's an article about this. So we went through, right, lung and large intestine, stomach, spleen, then there's heart, small intestine, then bladder, kidney, then there's pericardium, triple warmer, gallbladder, and liver. And so I just want to touch upon the ones that might not jump out at you. So pericardium is the area surrounding the heart. It protects and lubricates and removes excess energy from the heart. That's a fire element. Gallbladder is storing and expelling bile produced by the liver, so it supports the liver, and that's a wood element. Triple warmer is also a fire element, and it is controlling the body as a whole. So as I said, metabolism, and then regulates heat, moisture, and body temperature. So, it can be it might be difficult to discern that there's an issue with the triple warmer meridian because it can really be the whole body as it's responsible for it. So any issue in any organ is said to have an imbalance in the triple warmer meridian. So something to think about in terms of it's always going to need at least a look. Yeah, I think those are the main ones. And then, as I said, liver, kidney, and spleen are the ones that seem to be low energy from what acupuncture practitioners have shared with me. And that would be my last point, is that there are a few ways you can get involved in traditional Chinese medicine, one being definitely being a TCM practitioner, another being acupuncture or using acupressure, where you can identify the points on your body and stimulate those points in order to remove blockages or move the energy in your body. Those are great. There's a video in one of the links I've posted about flushing the energy of the kidney and spleen and liver, I believe. Kidney, liver, spleen. So exactly what I've been mentioning. There's a link there for that if you want to check that out. Really easy and quick, 3 minutes. And then, so acupuncture will be the needles where they put them in you at different meridian points. The acupressure is simply you stimulating it yourself. And then there's also Tai Chi, which I think that it's not talked about enough. It's really great into any age, all ages. Great for stability, flexibility, strength training. Really great to harmonize the elements and balance them in your body. I would say overall, anyone that hasn't tried it, if you're into yoga or have tried yoga and maybe didn't like it, this is definitely lower impact and can work for anyone in such a relaxing, balancing approach. So definitely check out Tai Chi if you haven't, because it's huge. And the final thing I would say, which is, there's also Qigong, which is also a preventative form, and it's related. Martial art is Tai Chi, so the two are related, Qigong and Tai Chi. The final would be, of course, as we talked about, nutrition makes a huge difference, and alongside that, with a good Chinese medicine practitioner, you will get potentially herbal remedies as well, and they've used herbal remedies for many, many years. And I think that there's definitely something to be said for relying on natural support outside of your body if those imbalances are, if you're way imbalanced, or if you could use some support getting your energy back centered, then we all need help sometimes. And the one thing would just be to consider, heavy metals, pesticides, like just get a good quality herbal product, which if you get in touch with a great practitioner, then that should be fine. But just something to consider. It's the same thing with supplements, right? We just want high quality. We don't want to do more damage by all the supplements we're taking. So I hope this has been a great little introduction into traditional Chinese medicine. If you want to learn more, please feel free to follow the links in the show notes. And if you love this episode, please do like, subscribe, review the show. It makes all the difference in me being able to continue to produce it for you. And if you feel extra generous over the holiday season, then of course any donation is absolutely appreciated. I'll see you back on the next episode for a bit of an intro into Ayurveda. Talk soon and take good care.